Hi, this is Dr. Georgia. I hope you find today's message a blessing in your life. We want to make sure that we continue to provide these video messages for you when you can't come to church, or for those of you who live in a different state, or we noticed recently we have a lot of people in even different countries who are tuning in. So if that is you and you can donate to us, we invite you to hit that donate button just below the message here. So thanks so much.
Let's prepare ourselves. If you put your hand over your eyes, I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today. Now over your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. And now over your heart, just extend out your arms. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today. The spiritual truth that I'm working with today came from the lips of Jesus. If you will bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. If you are not willing to bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will destroy you. It actually comes from the Gospel of Thomas, a gospel that was lost for many years and found in 1945 in Egypt. So that's why it didn't make it into the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But it is no less powerful, the spiritual teachings of the Gospel of Thomas, and especially this passage. If you are willing to bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. If you are not willing to bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will destroy you. You know, today our focus is on bringing forth the qualities of God that are within us and can never be taken from us. They will always be there. Those qualities called love and harmony and abundance and joy and integrity and so many more. I'm reading a book right now called If You Know Who You Are, You'll Know What to Do. And you know, when I read a book, then you all get to benefit from some of this book. It's a powerful book written by a Christian minister named Ronald Greer. If you know who you are, you'll know what to do. Now, before we get to bringing in the qualities of God called love and compassion and those beautiful qualities, I would be remiss as your minister if I didn't also say that we must bring forth that which is within us that is yucky, that which is within us that keeps us up at night, that which is within us that we think we're hiding from if we keep it stuffed down. All of that must also come out to be witnessed and dealt with. You know, the Catholics have a great idea with confession, because you have something in your heart that you don't want everybody to know. You go and you share that and it's witnessed. The 12-step program, they have a fabulous protocol for this. In one of the steps, in step 5, you go to someone you trust and you take that which is within you that is yucky and you bring it out for the light of day. Your church, this church, the Center for Spiritual Awareness, has a protocol for that. It's called visiting a practitioner. Now, the practitioners are there to witness, to be with you as you excavate this which is ugly in your life, this which is yucky. They're not there to fix it. They're not even there to erase it. They're there to witness it, to bring it up, so that together you can see it with spiritually mature eyes in your life. See, sometimes we have to look at that which is within us that is yucky as stones that are in our heart. And those stones are keeping your good from getting past them, from getting into you at a deep enough level. Let a practitioner help you reduce the size of those stones, or to roll them back all together in your life. Having said that, that's not what this sermon is about. It's not that about what you need to excavate, you need to bring forth which is yucky, but actually to bring forth that which is good within you, that is good within every single one of us, no matter where we've done, no matter where we've been, no matter what we've done. it is still in there, unharmed. Those qualities of God. And today, and for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to focus on integrity, because that's what this book focuses on. What is integrity? It's doing the right thing when you know it's the right thing to do. It's whether somebody's looking at you and seeing you do the right thing, or there's nobody around and you're still doing the right thing. That's what integrity is. When you know who you are, you'll know what to do. In this book, I want to read you just the opening words, the opening paragraph of the opening chapter, because it kind of anchors us in this idea of we know who you are, you'll know what to do. The story is told about Hendrik Kramer, a remarkable lay minister from the Dutch church who spent much of his adult life in Indonesia. He was in his native Holland when the Second World War broke out. The Gestapo dominated the nation of Holland, forcing Dutch Jews to be placed into Dachau and other concentration camps. Late one night, a group of Dutch laypersons came to see Hendrik Kramer. They said to him, "Dr. Kramer, what shall we do? Our neighbors are dying. Jews are being rounded up. We don't know what to do is to become of us as a nation. Please, please, if you can, tell us what to do. We've got to do something, and we've got to do it right now." And Hendrik Kramer said to them, "I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you who you are. And if you know who you are, you'll know what to do." He opened his Bible to 1 Peter and began to read. "You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a dedicated nation, a people claimed by God as his own, to proclaim the triumphs of him who has called you out of the darkness and into his marvelous light." Dr. Kramer closed his Bible. "Do you know who you are?" he asked. Thinking, "Then you'll know what to do." Thanking him, the group left his house, and that night they formed the Dutch resistance. If we know who we are, we'll know what to do. If we can anchor this in our consciousness, if we can treat it as a mantra, if we know who we are, we'll know what to do. If I know who I am, I'll know what to do. If I know who I am, I'll know what to do. If I know who I am, I'll know what to do. If we can get that phrase to roll off our tongues as easily as those phrases that roll off our tongues that tell us we're not good enough, that we're not enough, those are rolling off our tongues all day long. If we can change that, if I know who I am, I'll know what to do. When we have a tough decision to make, we'll remember. If I know who I am, I'll know what to do. When I behave in a shallow way, when I behave in a self-centered way, we can stop it. If we can remember this mantra, if I know who I am, I'll know what to do. You know, what happens when we are not in that place, when we're in that shallow place? We've lost touch with our soul. And I don't think there's any, at least for me, there's nothing worse than losing touch with my soul. You know, when we, you know, a lot of us, a lot of the time, our life is good. We have a house, we have a roof over our head, we have food on the table, we have a car that drives, we have a family that's intact. And yet sometimes, haven't you had that feeling, there's something missing in my life? There's something missing. What's missing is you've lost touch with your soul. Pablo Casals tells a story about a young cellist who comes to him and says, "Would you listen to my piece and give me feedback?" And Casals says, "Of course I would," and he did. And the kid came back and said, "What did you think?" He said, "You know, you hit all of the right notes, but you failed to play the music." That's what happens in our life when we're dealing with the outside. We want to look good with the outside. We're hitting the right outside notes, but we're failing to play the music of our heart. We're failing to play the music of our soul. We're not in integrity. See, integrity is not about being right and wrong in terms of societal standards. It's about connection with our higher power. And once we're connected to our higher power, we're connected to our soul, which is always connected to our higher power. See, integrity is the opposite of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy comes from the Greek word hypocrite. And what that means translated is actors. Hypocrites are actors. They're being something that they're not. They've divided their life. You know who is conquering being hypocrite? Who is conquering hypocrisy in their life? Trans people. Those folks have conquered this idea that they're going to walk around being something they're not, even though it's hard in society. Even though society doesn't welcome them. They are the leaders for us. Because all of us have experienced it. All of us have acted in one area of our life at one time or another in our life. Maybe in our marriages, maybe in our parenting, maybe in our work life. We've not allowed our soul voice to penetrate the shoulds. I should be this, I should be that, I should be something else. We've stopped asking that important question, what do I value? What is sacred to me? What is important to me? We have to get back, what is precious to me? We have to get back. Integrity involves introspection, finding out who we are. What calls us is the first level of integrity. See, the first level might be a question of what's right and what's wrong in my life. But for us, it has to be deeper. It has to be a question of what's right for me and what's right in my life. What's right for me in my life? You know, it's a harder question for us to ask. Because a lot of us walk around wanting to look good on the outside. We want to look cool on the outside. We want to be accepted on the outside. We've mixed up respect on the outside with prestige on the outside. I have a story that, children are good teachers for us. I have a story some of you have heard before. It's one summertime, very hot day. I went to a public pool, and it was very, very crowded. And the only place my little beach chair would sit was right by the deep end. And I sat down, and I began to watch the children jumping off diving boards. And I noticed that among the line of kids, there were 3 friends, very cool dudes. I knew they were very cool dudes because they had cool dude haircuts, and they had cool dude trunks, and they tried cool dude language. And they would do things like jump off and do swan dives and cannonballs, and they were having a great time. Also, very near me, at the edge of a pool, was a little boy with Down syndrome. And he had his little toes around the edge of that pool, and you could see him visibly shaking. And his mother was right next to him, and she was encouraging him to jump into the pool. Now, as all of us in this room who are parents know, we have encouraged our children to do things for us. Not for them, but for us. And we didn't stop when it made no sense to keep going. Don't you agree? Those of you who are parents, if you look back, oh, did I? Yes, I did do that. I want you to anchor in that because I don't want you to judge this mother because she gets worse. Come on, Johnny, jump in. You can jump in. It'll be fine. Just jump in. And she kept it up, kept it up. He wasn't moving. He wasn't going anywhere. And all of a sudden, she pulled out the big guns. And she says to him, Johnny, you don't want me to tell Daddy what a big baby you are, do you? Now look, we've all said stupid things, and she was invested. Haven't we been invested as parents? So stupid invested that this happened? Well, who also heard her were the 3 cool dudes. And as they approached, I got nervous. I got afraid because I've been in elementary school yards. I know how cruel kids can be. And I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? But as I was trying to figure out what I was going to do to interrupt it, the cool dudes came over and they started to talk to him. Hey man, come on, you can do this, jump in. And they would jump in and show him that they would come back up. And they encouraged him, and they encouraged him, and they encouraged him some more. Nothing worked. Until finally one of the cool dudes grabbed his hand and said, come on, we're going to do this together. And they jumped in together. Now I would like to say that what touched my heart with the presence of God was that kid who came back up with a glorious smile on his face, knowing he was alive. But it was the three cool dudes. Gone as quick as they came. They had done their job, they went. They knew who they were, they knew what to do. They knew who they were, they knew what to do. See, but often our biggest regrets are not that we do something wrong, but that we didn't do something at all when it was called for. We didn't interrupt racism. We didn't interrupt homophobia. We didn't interrupt sizeism. We laughed at the joke at somebody else's expense. That's when I have the biggest cringe in my life, and I suspect you do as well. I love what Ben Franklin said. He said, we must always account for our idle or evil idle words, but we should also account for our silence. Powerful lesson in integrity for me is to make sure that I am accountable for my silence. In this time of our lives, in this country, it is so important for us to speak out loud our values. Our values. It's time for us to march. It's time for us to write letters. It's time for us to go to the peace rally at the end of February. It's time for us to act out loud of our values. If we know what to do, we know who we are, we'll know what to do. Well, it's all fine and good, but you know, sometimes there are things that pull us off. We have an intention for integrity, but it's so easy to get pulled off. This book talks about them. I'm going to talk about 3 of them right now. The first thing that can pull you off your integrity so quickly is to ignore integrity, to ignore it. See, it's so easy to cut corners, to just make a little problem. You know, we cut a corner and the consequence is not very big. The twinge of guilt is not very big. And so we keep ignoring it, we keep ignoring it, we keep ignoring it in our life. A little flirtation at the water cooler, you know, a few pencils stolen here and there from work. Little things that began to add up, that began to draw us off our intention to have integrity in our life. And if ignoring integrity doesn't work, you can always go to rationalization. Rationalization is a great way to pull ourselves off our integrity. That feeling that we're going to make something make sense when it makes no sense in our life. You know, you've committed to a diet. I've committed to this food plan. I'm going to eat this food plan. Believe me, I've been eating this food plan today and nothing else. And that second helping of potatoes is just right there. Well, tomorrow I'll eat less so that I can have it. Rationalization is an easy way to get pulled off of ourselves. And if ignoring it doesn't work and rationalization doesn't work, I'll tell you what will really work is people pleasing. People pleasing will bring you off your integrity game in a nanosecond, because we forget to figure out who it is we are, and we're trying to please somebody else's identity of who we are. My parents desperately wanted me to be more stereotypically feminine than I am. And I tried, and I tried. High heels, that didn't really work for me. I tried makeup. I was inducted into the little clown program that they had. As much as I tried to decode what being more stereotypically feminine was for me, it wasn't me. It wasn't my authentic self. And it took me until adulthood to know that I had to return to, if I know who I am, I'll know what to do. And that's in every area of our life, not just the big areas, but how we dress, how we answer the phone, everything. If I know who I am, I'll know what to do in my life. Maybe you have some things that are less dramatic. Some ways, less dramatic ways, that you're people pleasing in your marriage, in your relationship, in your office, in your parenting. Maybe there are some less ways. I invite you this week to pay attention to how much people pleasing you're doing and what it feels like, because integrity has a physical reaction, and you've all felt it. It's that cringe. It's that twinge. It's that feeling of I'm not being real here. God sent us to be real. God wants you to be exactly as you are right now. You are whole, perfect, and complete at your essence. You don't have to please anybody else. You have to please that which is within you. And if you will bring forth that which is within you, it will save you. Let's take this message into prayer. There's only one power. It's the power of love, and it runs right through me. So that's all I turn to. I don't turn to anything else. Jealousy, I'm not there. I'm in love. Fear, not there. I'm in love. I'm going to focus so much in love that I won't be able to see anything else. It might be happening, it might not be happening, but I won't see it because I'm in love. Because the Great One always says yes. If that's what I want, the one who says yes, then I take that to the bank. I rely on it. I give thanks for it. I release it into the world, and so it is.